Bam! I like that music. Welcome to CLTFC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans. Damn it. My wife told me that's the proper way to spell it, Lee. If you're doing damn it, it's two M's. It's not an M-N-I-T. Tonight on the show, number one, anyone out there, just let it be known that I'm super excited because we're finally so close to this actually happening. To actually being there at a game cheering on our Charlotte FC. Yeah, let's go, Ernesto. So we have on my boy Lee. We have on Vaughn from QC Royals and MLS Access. What is it, Vaughn?
MLS Aces.
MLS Aces. Sorry, my bad.
No,
and okay. Top Ben 90.
What's good?
Down as usual. And our special guest tonight, Adam from inside the district at Filibuster. Gonna give us a little that DC United. It's still called United, right, Adam?
Yeah.
I mean,
Siempre United.
There's no new thing. I didn't know if United was going to come along with it. It's okay, so it's still United. Okay, DC United, hold it down for us. And Lee, please take it away, and I'll stop talking.
Yeah. What's up, man? So first, I want to give a shout out to the shipping department of Southbound and Crown. We love the shipping department. Making us some koozies here. I don't know if you guys can see these, right? You know, it's getting a lot of love out there. So give us some koozies. Yeah, we'll make sure we have some koozies on there. Mrs. Gilmore, we need to talk after the show, so we get some koozies. But anyways, what's up, fellas? How's it going? Yeah. So first game, right? Heading to DC, where we're gonna win 2-1, and it's just gonna be an awesome thing. Adam, man, we appreciate your time. I know you had some other co-hosts that were gonna join and just kind of bailed on us there at the last minute, and let you kind of handle the pressure from us, man.
Yeah, you know, it happens. Jason, he's one of the hardest working guys out here. He's covering the women's national team tonight, and so he just got his schedule mixed up and, had to leave me to my own devices, which, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I was just busting on them a little bit since they're not here to defend themselves. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get going, man. Like, tell us about your podcast, how people can find you and that sort of thing.
Sure. My name's Adam Taylor, up here in DC. Been going to DC United games for a spell now, probably 15 years. Been a season ticket holder for about 13 of those. Had Filibuster, the podcast, going since 2012. It was an offshoot of Black and Red United, which is the SB Nation community around DC United. That's been going since 2010. Not an auspicious start. That was one of the worst years ever for DC United, but the site survived and thrived, and we spun off the podcast, and it's still going.
Yeah. So rumor has it you had a special guest on your last recording, right? That's about to drop, I guess. Yeah,
we had Alex Andreev on.
Nice.
When we recorded last night. That episode will be out later this week. Charlotte's own from the Observer. She actually spent some time up here in the district with the Post as an intern back in the day.
Nice. Vaughn, man, what's going on with you, buddy?
Hey, thank you for having me. This is exciting. This is so surreal.
Can you tell I'm excited? Can you tell I'm excited?
We're going to be going through the roof here. Yeah, no, the excitement is palpable.
Yeah, that's right. Top Ben, what's up, buddy?
What's up, boys? How are you?
All right. So you had a special guest on your show last night, man.
I did. I had Cheyenne from Between Clean Sheets, who's also a DC native.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it's kind of cool to see everybody kind of cross collab, man. It's really appreciated.
Right.
So, yeah. First game, kickoff, 6 p.m., I believe, on Saturday. For the local folks, if you're in Charlotte, you can catch it on WSOC TV, Telemundo, all that fun stuff. So, Adam, question to you, man. Since this is our first ever game in the MLS, is the pressure on DC or not?
At this point, so many people are picking against DC this year just because the roster's a little bit weaker. It's definitely thinner than last year. There's pressure because, when the opposing coach comes into the game saying that his team is screwed by their own roster. You got to win that game if you have any hope of being a playoff team, especially at home, especially coming off the home record that DC United had last year. I think they will feel some pressure, but one of the first things Hernan Losada said when he came into the team last year is that pressure is a privilege. And so I think this team has an ethos around, wanting to own whatever pressure they have, which in other games might not be so much, but there is some in this game.
Right. So our very own Top Bin 90 was the one that caught that clip and went mini viral there. So
outstanding. Good work.
Yeah. So exactly.
Mini viral. Come on, Lee. It went viral.
Did you hit 1 million impressions yet? It has to be there.
It just hit 800,000.
Wow.
See, the thing is, we can't give this guy too much of it. His head starts to swell, and then I have to hear it in group chats, and it just, then he forgets about me, man. It's a long story. So it went mini viral. Right?
Thanks for reaching out to my secretary today to remind me about this.
Yeah. She actually texted me. I think she actually
She's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. So like you said, Adam, our coach did say that we're screwed. I think a lot of that has to do with we had quite a few players that were supposed to come in that kind of fell through at the last minute. It is what it is, right? Our starting striker on DP, he's apparently tied up with some passport issues or visa issues or something, so he's not even starting.
Just give him a MasterCard, man. He don't need a visa.
That's right. Yeah. So, Vaughn, man, what do you think about this weekend?
I mean, I've said it several times. I'm just ready to enjoy the ride. I mean, this day has been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
I went from being the crazy guy saying, "Hey, I think Charlotte's going to get a team," like back when Marcus Smith was a bid,
right.
and just feeling like it was a market that MLS wanted to get into, and the day's finally here. We had the delay from 2021 into 2022, and I'm just so excited for our community to finally have Major League Soccer to enjoy. It's going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. But that's the thing. It's still a roller coaster. It's still a ride that you're supposed to have fun on. So I'm just ready for us to finally take off.
Right on. So yeah, like DC United though, I believe your preseason you guys were undefeated, right?
Yeah, 2 wins, 2 draws, no losses through the 4 preseason games.
You guys played against LA Galaxy your last game, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep. Yeah. United went ahead twice on set piece goals, and Chicharito pulled the Galaxy back both times.
Yeah. So that's actually our next game. Our first game at home was against those guys. So we'll check it out, and hopefully we can do it. But I guess unlike us, we were lucky enough where our club's streaming the games and that sort of thing. I heard on your last podcast and listened to it earlier today, and you guys were basically saying like that it's just extremely hard, at least in DC, to get like coverage and access and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the last few years it's been the case where the team just doesn't show any preseason games. They're all closed door, and even the ones where someone else is producing it and putting it out there, like the Galaxy did this weekend, they're not taking it and putting it out in DC. It's only geofenced. It was only geofenced to LA. So
right.
If you didn't get out there, there were some technical means you could use to see it, but
if I dropped some initials like a VPN or something, maybe.
Yeah, a very professional network would have done it.
Yeah, that's right. I like it a lot.
Does DC have a deal with Bally Sports?
No, it's
covered into that for the regular season.
No, so it's funny because DC actually streams all the games in market that aren't on national TV on their website. So it's not that they're afraid of streaming games. They just want to keep preseason really close to the vest. It seems like they didn't give out full lineups for some of the games. If someone wasn't signed or, a draft pick, basically, they didn't get named. Like the first goal against the Galaxy or against LAFC, I think, was by guest. We have no idea who did it. Like the players do, but they're not allowed to say either. Like I got Julian Gressel on Twitter, and he was like, "Guest is a legend."
Yeah, I was saying, like if you're a fan and have like a sign up that says "guest."
Yeah,
like,
there might be some 2 polls
or
celebrating guest this weekend.
Yeah, the kit on the back of this back of it has guest written on it.
Yep, number 22.
We had a similar thing. The player that scored for us, they just put him as TBD for a minute.
Yeah, they used to do guest player for when they'd have like a USL trialist or something. And since DC United always did their preseason in Florida, we would refer to Florida Man. He became a recurring character through several DC United preseasons. So it's just, we assumed, we had no reason not to believe it wasn't somebody just walking by on the street who hopped in like it was a pickup game and balled out.
Nice. Although I don't want to ever antagonize Florida Man.
No.
I won't be the one to poke that bear.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-apologize. I'm going to apologize early. Like, I think I'm having some mic issues, so you might see me drop in and out, but you guys carried the show. I'll be back in as soon as possible.
So you're saying you're going to talk less and we're going to talk more?
Yeah, I mean, it changes it up.
Right?
See, and JT just disappears, right? So it's
Right. My dog walked in.
Yeah.
Right when you're coming in.
So, Top Ben, man, what do you think about this game coming up? What do you think some key takeaways or some key points that we need to be paying attention to?
Well, I think the key for us is not to lose the game. I think that would be a win for us. I think we need to be a little bit faster in transition, and we need to capitalize on set pieces. We had about 7 or 8 set pieces against Miami that just we were ineffective with. And so I think I'm almost 100% sure we'll miss Swiderski. So I think
Me
he's
too.
definitely not going to come. He can't make it in time.
yeah. So
Like a no flight zone over there or something right now in Poland or something, right? Not to get political.
If we could pull a 0-0 or a 1-1, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Bum, what do you think, man?
I mean, if I had to make a prediction, I would say 1-1. But that's just because I'm optimistic that we're gonna get a goal, right? Like that's what I want to see. I want it to be entertaining. I want to be in it.
Open play goal, please.
An open play goal would be that much sweeter. But yeah, I mean, what Adam was talking about, right? Like the pressure's on. There's a certain level of adrenaline to the start of an MLS season, but for an expansion club, there's that little extra juice for being the first game for a franchise, for trying to prove a lot of people wrong, of trying to put it all together. Sometimes some magic happens from that. But in terms of wins, it's probably not in the cards, and that's just history for expansion clubs. The last expansion club to get a win was LAFC back in 2018. And I think only 4 expansion teams have won their first game. So stats are not in our favor in that regard. But getting a goal, I think that's realistic because you're going to have that little extra bit of energy and going out there. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge without Swiderski if that's the case. Probably is the case. But I think DC is a team that we may have some opportunities against too.
Right. Adam, you guys like to play that high press, yeah?
Yeah, the maximum overdrive, as we've taken to calling it on the podcast. It's a very high press. In the preseason, they would dial it back after 20, 25 minutes. But when they had it on, it was working well. That's where a lot of the opportunities against the Galaxy came anyway. I can't really speak to the other preseason games because, as we discussed, didn't get to see them. But DC United loves to press. It took them a little while last year to really get the press figured out and understand where the gaps were they needed to fill and the angles they needed to take and what roles and who stepped where and when. But they put in that learning curve last year. So this year they, hopefully will come out flying really high with that press right out of the gate.
Oh, Lee's muted himself. Unmute yourself, mate.
Well, and I'll just say, in relation to that game that was against the Galaxy that you guys just had, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Julian Gressel, he both the goals were off of set pieces from him.
Yeah, both goals were off set pieces. There were some other opportunities from open play that just missed the corner here, forced a good save there. But yeah, both the goals came from set pieces.
Yeah, I know Jorge mentioned that. I think that's going to be something for us to watch out for is not only how Charlotte does on set pieces that they're getting, if they get any, but also being able to defend anything coming in from Gressel.
Well, to piggyback on that, I understand that the team hasn't been practicing too many set pieces at all. So that's like a later thing. Right now, they're just starting to learn the system, find the gaps and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, they practice it a little bit, but that's not something that they're too much into immediately.
Oh, that's interesting. Last year when Losada just came in, and Hernan Losada's, ethos couldn't be more different than Ben Olsen's. Olsen was, he was not a high press, run all day kind of. He was very gritty and, about doing the work, but much more pragmatic and less devoted to one specific thing. And so when Losada came in, he wanted to, he had to remake the team tactically. But in that first game last year against NYCFC, they busted out a couple of training ground corner kick routines, one of which led to a goal, a beautiful golazo actually from Russell Knaus. So it's funny that Ramirez doesn't want to work those in initially. Losada went exactly the opposite way. Maybe
it's a false narrative. Maybe he's like, yeah, you know what? We practice nothing. Anything. We're just doing our thing.
Yeah, what's that happening behind the curtain there? Not set piece practice. No, we're not doing that.
Which makes sense to be like not the easiest, but like it's a set piece. So practice this exact situation over and over. It's like doing to help it translate to other fans of other stuff, because that's my point in this whole thing, is to bridge the new fans into soccer, as I am also one, is the whole idea of like it's doing free throws. It's like a corner kick has to be like at the end of practice doing free throws or something. It's like, all right, let's just go practice this, or penalty kicks, or not PKs. I'm sorry, penalties, Lee. Penalties, right? Still can't hear you, bud. Which is fine. So Vaughn, you're going up there on tomorrow? No, you're going up there on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm driving up day of the game.
It's gonna be like a 6-hour drive. The game's at 6:30.
Yeah, game's at 6, I believe.
That's nice. So Adam, help us understand what the scene is. Does anyone tailgate? Is there any kind of what's it like? And how much does your stadium seat? Because I know we're coming into the Panther Stadium. We're cheating that whatever. We're not building a new one like Atlanta did, at least for both teams. But what's the scene like for a fan coming up there on Saturday?
Yeah, so Audi Field, it seats 20,000. It's all on one level basically, and it's super duper steep. So if you go up to the top, you're liable, where you guys are at the top of 112, you'll be liable to get some vertigo. And I hope you didn't do leg day the day before, because there's a lot of stairs to get up there. But around the stadium, there's a few bars a few blocks away by Nationals Park, the baseball stadium there. It's really a neighborhood that is just being built. There's some old warehouses that are being converted into condos, because it's DC. Everything gets converted into condos these days. And there's some empty lots that are going to be condos and hotels and offices. But the supporters groups all have their own tailgate. The Barra Brava is one of the oldest groups in DC. They're at a sports bar up the street. The District Ultras are just out on Water Street, hanging out and drinking and tailgating. And the Screaming Eagles actually...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're telling me they're just out on the street?
Yeah, man.
Okay, nice. All right.
It's not. It's a couple blocks away from the stadium, but it's the stadium's on a peninsula, so there's not a ton of traffic that's not trying to get there. So they're just on a side street on the peninsula on Buzzard Point, just hanging out
on the street.
And then the Screaming Eagles, actually, they have a deal with a local nature conservancy to use their building, which actually has a dock that goes out over the river. They have a roof deck that's really nice. So there's a few different tailgating options down there. And they're generally a pretty welcoming bunch. No one's trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, well, we definitely are Southern gentlemen or whatever. But hold on, you're telling me they're called the Screaming Eagles?
Screaming Eagles. They're one of they and the Barra Brava are the original groups.
They're in a partnership with a nature conservancy?
Yep.
See, that's the shit I'm talking about, people. Think outside the box. They're a supporters group. They're like, you know what? Let's get our money together, have fun, do whatever, have these events, and also let's give money to help out the Raptors or whatever. That's awesome.
That's fair. So I'm going to apologize yet again about this damn mic, man. See, I updated did a Windows update today.
Please.
Yeah.
I'll stop. Nothing to apologize for because you know what? People love that segment.
All right. Anyways, right, so is Julian Gressel starting this week?
Yeah, I would be shocked if Gressel didn't start. I think he started every game last year. He was one of the few people, knock wood, not to get bitten by the injury bug last year. And he was critical. Honestly, he was robbed of a best 11 nod last year because he was, there was nobody in the league creating more chances from wide spaces than he was. So he's a lock. Like, he might be the first name on the team sheet, honestly.
Right on. So you guys got any key injuries or people that are going to be missing?
No, it's weird. We don't have a huge list of injuries, which was the story of last year.
So we're going to send the cartel up and take care of that.
It's that Charlotte kneecap mafia, right?
Yeah. No, we got the cartel. We'll let Top Ben talk about that later, but yeah.
Yeah, the only
man.
DC United just released their injury list right before I got on the call. Only 2 players are out. Nigel Robertha, who is either the second or third number 9 on the roster. We don't know yet. And then Jeremy Garay, who's a young homegrown central midfielder who's actually got called up to the El Salvador under 20s recently. And then Theodore Di-Pietro, Teddy KDP, is questionable with a hamstring, but he's not likely to start at this point in the season anyway. So none of the projected starters at this point are out, which is a nice change. I don't know if that happened at all last year.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't play to your favor this week, at least. So Nathan is asking the question, Adam, for you. He's asking what do you think about losing Kevin and Paul from your squad?
Oh man, that's huge, right? Paul Areola, I've heard a lot of people say that he didn't really fit Losada's tactical system because he's a winger, and Losada doesn't really play with true wingers. Those outside attackers are really kind of central attacking midfielders who flare wide, and then wing backs have a lot more defensive responsibility. But Areola fit that outside forward role so well. Just he's so direct towards the goal, and he never stops running, which is job one in Losada's system. So missing, he's a huge hole. And then Kevin Paredes, as much as we'll miss him on the field, and I think he was due for a big improvement this year, which is why he was sold for more than $7 million. He's going to be missed in the stands even more because the kid is just so much fun to watch. He's got sauce for days. And just, he's a homegrown kid too. He just turned 18, and one of the pieces of content the team produced was basically his exit speech to the team when the sale became official. And he's talking about how, he basically got to achieve his lifelong dream before he turned 18 because he got to play with legends like Bill Hamid and Steven Birnbaum, right. Which is that's the dream if you're MLS, right? If you're an MLS team, you want people from your community to come up in the academy, play for the team, and then go be great somewhere else, go conquer the world, and then maybe come back like Andy Nahar did.
Yeah, sorry about that question though, man, because Nathan apparently happens to be an FC Dallas fan, and I guess they snagged him up, right? And so
yeah, they sent us a nice haul.
A little shady, man.
That was going to be a question that I had for you in terms of Andy Nahar, like what your thoughts on him was. I mean, predominantly in his career, when I watched him, they played him as a right back or as a right winger at Anderlecht, but I saw he went into a back 3 under Losada. So just your thoughts.
Oh man, he was honestly revelatory there because I don't think anywhere else in the world have you had a creative attacking center back. Yeah. And that's what Nahar did. He provides this progression, this ball progression on the dribble, and he can pick a pass as well. Like he started off as a fullback, moved forward to the wing, and then kind of moved back as his career progressed. And he's just, he can play anywhere on the field, and you put him at center back. He's a little bit undersized, but it's a 3-man back line. And you've got Brendan Hines-Ike and Stephen Birnbaum with him, who are both huge, or Donovan Pines, who's a freakishly tall human being. And he doesn't have to win all of those aerial battles. The guy can still jump. I say kid, he's not a kid anymore. So he's not a total liability on the aerials, but he provides so much, both in the press and when DC United are in possession or transitioning into attack. He just provides so much from that deep position coming forward. And, when you need an extra runner in the box or an extra just pair of feet to keep the ball moving, there's not a lot of center backs who can step up and do what he can do. 100%. So it's awesome. I love him in that spot. I don't want him to move to another position ever. I want him there. That's his position now.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm from Honduras, so like we debate a little bit because we use him as a right back when he does play for us.
Right. I don't think you can use him as a center back and a back four, right? You got to have the other two center backs in there to kind of let him do his thing.
Right.
But one of the issues when he came back, he was coming off of so many injuries at Anderlecht, and he did his knee multiple times. He was about to hang it up. And it was actually one of the assistant coaches from Anderlecht who came over to join Losada's staff, Nicolas Frutos, who convinced him to come back to DC and let them try to solve the problem, strengthen the areas that were actually causing the injuries. And they did that. And, he missed some chunks of time last year, but it was the healthiest season he's had in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And
you got it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was great. Like, it's a homecoming story because, he started his career here after immigrating from Honduras. And so he was a fan favorite. Like another guy that I always wanted to come home, basically. And so I was thrilled to see him come back and then just like completely break the mold.
Right. Yeah. I remember early in his career when he's like first breaking off, like he could have played for USA as well, but chose to play with us. So.
Yep. Oh, there was never any question. He was always going to, he's a catracho to his core, right?
100%.
Yeah, that right side is what scares me in this game, honestly. Like Nahar and Gressel and what they can create. Adam, I don't know if you saw, but I'm sure the other guys did. The final preseason game against Miami, we gave up a goal on our left side of the defense, and I was like, oh man, if that's exactly what DC would do to us in getting a quick transition move, get it down the right side, and get like right to the near post. And I was like, that's the part I'm scared about in this game.
Yeah, if the LA Galaxy game is any indication, Gressel and Michael Estrada, the new forward from Toluca and Ecuador, they've already kind of are on the same page. They've got a connection budding, which is exciting for us to see. I'm sure that's not what you want to hear, though.
Well, what do you think is going to happen with Estrada? And
I'm sorry to interrupt, Vaughn, but look at the smile on Adam's face.
Estrada's interesting, right? Because he's until the last year, basically, he's scored goals wherever he went. He's Ecuador's leading scorer in World Cup qualifying, and they are currently in the qualification spots in CONMEBOL. He scored goals before he got to Toluca, and he scored goals his first year at Toluca. And then he stopped getting on the field, at least with starters minutes. He would come in for cameos. And so his appearance numbers shot up, but he wasn't scoring goals. I don't know if it's Toluca's system. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know what it is, but he wasn't scoring goals anymore for Toluca. He goes to Ecuador, scores goals for them, comes to DC in his first game, preseason game, but scores a goal. So I'm with everything with this team this year, I'm cautiously optimistic.
How about Brad Smith? How do you think he'll do?
He's another interesting case because he was really inconsistent with Seattle. He came out of the gates on fire last year. He had like 3 goals in the first 10 games of the year and then kind of disappeared. I think Losada's system, the pressing system, letting him use that athleticism to stay as high up the field as he can for as long as possible, I think that's going to suit him a lot. I think he provides good service on the left, maybe not quite to the level of Gressel, but better than a lot of left backs in this league. And having him high and his athleticism, his ability to come inside and go to goal, it's a different threat than Kevin Paredes had. I don't think he's going to nutmeg guys on the end line the way Paredes like to do, but his numbers, his production last year was actually a little bit higher than Paredes in comparable minutes. So I think he's going to be a fine addition for the near term and, even the medium term. I don't think, he's not a teenager like Paredes, so he's not going to give you the sell on or the long-term, potential. But I think for this year, the next few years, he's a good signing. I think he could do well for us.
He had a real bad injury, didn't he? Didn't he have a bad injury?
Brad Smith? I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
He had a broken heart.
That would be
TMZ.
TMZ. Yeah, shout out to TMZ. So, Adam, man, what do you guys think you're going to finish, right? I think you guys finished 8th last year and 13th the year before that. So you think you guys will make the playoffs?
I do. That's, I think, a minority position at this point, but I think DC United gets into the playoffs. They missed it by a single point last year and dropped so many results that could have been road draws, but they gave up a late goal or just had a complete meltdown. They've been vulnerable on full field counterattacks. Like the second goal the Galaxy got this weekend was a DC United corner that just went horribly wrong, and the Galaxy scored. So there were more of that last year. Hopefully that was mostly the second unit out there, but this weekend, and we won't see similar things. But I think the learning curve for the press is where they've conquered that. They don't have to go through that again, the struggles of the beginning of last year. And so it really comes down to health, because the central midfield in particular is really, really thin. We had so much bad luck on injuries last year, and a lot of people say it's just the style, but they weren't all muscle injuries. A lot of them were kind of either pre-existing or freak, like broken hips. Literally, Brendan Hines broke a hip, and he's not an old guy, so I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
The year before that, Edison Flores broke his face, like in a tackle. Like someone tackled him in the freakish things happened, and he broke his face.
Face is broken.
So I think they're gonna get up into 6th or 7th and make the playoffs. If Moses Nyman and Russell Knaus can't stay reasonably healthy for at least a chunk of the season, that goes out the window, though, because there's not a lot of backups there. We've got a rookie out of the draft, Sofian Jafal, who seems likely to sign and slot in there. We've got Drew Skundrich, who's a very hard worker, who doesn't quite have the technical chops to really provide what United needs there with the ball. But I think with just a little bit of luck, they're in the playoffs.
Well, and you guys also have some guys coming in the summer too, right? You've got Taxi Fountas coming.
Yeah, Taxi Fountas is coming from Rapid Vienna in the summer. It might be sooner. He's not on the plane to Vitesse for their Europa Conference League second leg, where they can't lose. Basically, they're up 2-1 on aggregate after their home leg. The assumption around DC has been that United have said that they want to bring him in as soon as they possibly can. And the assumption has been that Rapid Vienna has been, kind of putting the brakes on it because they want to get through to the next round, through to the knockout rounds of the Europa Conference League. And Fontas is going to be key to that, especially since their other number 9, they sold to Orlando, and he's already down there. So, but he's not on the plane. So maybe he's going to be here, not in time for this game this weekend, but maybe he'll be here before the month is out, and that'll be a huge boost as well. And then they've been connected to Joao Rojas, a young, I think, 20-something out of Ecuador, who has turned a lot of heads, has a lot of flair.
Just to pull it out for our newer fans, because I know y'all just got deep in that rabbit hole stuff. Now, I know everyone out there, many people out there, love it. I have no idea who they're talking about. What I understand, though, Adam, is because you've been deep in MLS for a long time. Of course, Vaughn, you have too. But now Vaughn is getting a team. is there any advice just for, most American fans, they're into American football, basketball, whatever, baseball, but whatever it is there any kind of, if they've been watching the European League for a while, now they have their own team. Is there any kind of advice you can give to us as an MLS fan with a team here in America?
Embrace the weird. MLS is a deeply weird league. It's weird by American sports standards. It's weird by soccer standards in the rest of the world. Just own it. Don't get self-conscious about it. Don't try to, be too cool for the little weirdsies.
Right now, I'm embracing it right now.
Aw, that's sweet.
JT, you're gonna fit right in, buddy.
Yeah,
He's had one too many already. So
not at all.
so
I love
Right,
it. It's weird.
So there's a question about maybe one doubt starting is Perez or Yao. Who do you think will start?
Yeah, Perez. So United started. They play 3 in the back, 4 across the midfield, including the wing backs, and then 2 attackers underneath the center forward up top. And we know that the left side of that attacking 3 will be Edison Flores. We think Michael Estrada will get the nod at the number 9, and then there's a hole on that other side, on the right side, which is where Taxi Fontas will eventually run things. But now it's between Adrian Perez, who was a backup for LAFC before last year, came in kind of like Drew Skundrich, but on the front line, super fit, runs for days, doesn't quite have the final touch to score. And then Griffin Yao is a teenage homegrown, he might be 20 now, actually, but young homegrown player who, when he's in the box, he can do magic. He's just got such a nose for the goal, but didn't get a lot of time last year under Losada. He started the last preseason game. Steve Goff from the Washington Post said that probably would have been Perez, but he was an injury concern. Perez isn't on the injury list now, so it's a good question. I don't know. I think Perez is probably more likely to start. I want to see Yao get that nod, though.
Yeah, so there's an inside joke about some players named Perez at the Charlotte Independence game. So yeah, we hope Perez starts just for that. That way we can continue the tradition of every time there's a Perez in the team. So Vaughn, man, there's a question here, and this is probably our biggest concern, at least today, right? Is where is Charlotte going to get the wingers we so desperately need?
From the global transfer market.
Right. Who do you see playing on that side, I guess would be a better way to ask that question, right?
Well, I think we've seen it already in preseason, right? Like, we've got a roster that's going to be out on the field. So
Yep.
like the Mar is going to move things around and have somebody out there. I think right now, Yordi Reyna and Mackenzie Gaines are basically pencil them in to the lineup. They're going to be there until somebody else is available to kind of displace them. Obviously, that gets exacerbated with guys like Swiderski not available. So where are we going to get those guys? I still see a ton of allocation money in our coffers. I think a trade could happen mid-season at some point. I think in the summer, we're obviously we missed out on Darwin Machis. I think the team's going to be working very hard to secure somebody there. And also the transfer window is still technically open. There's still the opportunity over the next month to bring another guy in before the transfer window closes. So I think that the team's going to be looking wherever they can. I don't think a lot of MLS teams are going to be willing to let players go at this point after preseason and with the season starting and with the unknown of what, injuries they might run into or whatever. But also money talks, allocation money talks. They may be looking for other summer moves and they need it as well. So it's going to be, where do we get them? I don't know exactly where we get them. Eventually, probably from Europe.
Would you say the winger is our biggest concern at this point?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say personally, I think right wing. I think Reyna is can and Adam can speak to this. Reyna has had success in Major League Soccer. His ceiling's not super high. Like I keep saying, I think his ceiling is 8 to 10 goals. That's if he's playing 25 to 30 games. I think over the past 2 years he's gotten up to like 4, but that's in limited minutes. But he has been a guy that can score 8-ish goals in a full Major League Soccer season. So him, Swiderski, no, your hole is on the right side. Mackenzie Gaines has 9 career appearances. I don't trust him to go 34 games. And what we've seen in preseason, he's not a guy that is. There's a little bit of a hole over there. It's like a black void. So I think that is the area that is going to need to be addressed. I don't know if at some point we bring in a number 10 and let TT go out and play on the wing. He has that ability. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see some rotational play. I think we're going to see guys in some different spots. I think we're going to have a lot of rotation because we don't have that depth up top, that you're going to see some guys playing in some funky roles, just like we saw in the one game against the Crew where Jalen Lindsey was being played as a winger. That is not normal for Jalen Lindsey, but I actually thought he looked pretty good there.
Me too.
So yeah,
right.
we're going to see some creativity, I think, from Mar. And until we fill that spot with somebody, it's going to be, I think, trial by fire.
I need a quick clarification. Our acronym, our nickname for Miguel Angel Ramirez, is it MAR, as Vaughn is saying, or is it Mars with an S on it, as I've heard it from other people, Lee?
I always call him Mars just because I'm always
capital M, capital A, capital R, little S.
Yeah.
His last name's Ramirez. You got to put a Z at the end, right?
Fine. So Mars or Miggy. Mars or Miggy.
Well, hold on. And Adam made a very good point.
I know I'm an outsider here, but my first thought is...
Who let this guy talk?
So, Jorge, is it MAR, the acronym for Miguel Angel Ramirez, with a Z, with a little S, or none?
He won't know. He's from South Carolina.
It's Mister.
Mister.
That's what you call the coach in Spain, Mister.
That's right. The gaffer.
Well, his nickname, the point I'm making about
We're not going to tell you it's top secret, JT, man. This is all top secret stuff from the club. If we tell you, we'll get blacklisted.
I'm talking to Miguel Angel Ramirez, a.k.a. Mars, and Mar. The other day, me and him chatting it up. And I said, hey, nickname, Mars. He's like, I never heard that. So he doesn't know. I don't know. At least he and I are on the same place.
That's right. So Weather's got a good question. Do you see any of the academy boys heading up to the team and getting minutes due to the lack of wingers? There was a couple I thought I saw today that were actually training with the team. Obviously that doesn't necessarily mean playing time and all that fun stuff, right? But I think we got 2 or 3 academy players that might be able to step up at some point. I just think it might be a little too early. What do you think, Jorge?
Yeah, same. I mean, maybe we'll see Chris get a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I doubt it.
Yep. Vaughn, you have any comment on that?
Yeah, well, once again, they'd have to be signed. So that's step one. They would have to.
Well, let's not get technical now.
Vaughn was like, he's like, just telling it like it truly is. Hey, remember what you're thinking out there? There's these little good documents that have to happen.
They have to have a contract.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Fair. So yeah. So Vaughn, where do you think Charlotte's going to end up this year?
I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic. I've said this before. I think that this roster is better than Wooden Spoon. I've watched too much game film of these guys and what the midfield is and the back line, and I've seen a lot of the other expansion teams. I just really at the end of the day do not see them as a Wooden Spoon team. The problem is the goal distribution. It's who's going to be putting the ball in the back of the net. But I don't see this roster being very easy to break down. I don't see this being a team that's going to concede 55 to 70 goals. I just don't see it. And I don't think what we've seen in preseason indicates any different than that. So in my predictions, being optimistic, I still put them at 11th. I still think it's going to really depend on who we bring in. And when I say 11th, I mean 11th in the Eastern Conference. I think what it's going to take for Charlotte to get any higher than that is for the guys to quickly acclimate to Miguel Angel Ramirez's system, Mars system, and then also whoever we're able to sign in the summer. It's going to be, I want to just see continuous improvement. And we saw that even over the preseason games, right? Like each game got a little bit better, and they're going to work on set pieces, and they're going to work on implementing new things, and they're going to see the center back pairings that jive, and they're going to learn how to play out of the corners. It's not going to be just a banging your head against the wall for 34 games and letting your outside backs make mistakes on trying to play out of the back. No, that they'll adjust. They'll learn. They'll also get used to MLS. So I think I think it's realistic to be 11th, and I think depending on who we're able to secure and how quickly they can adjust to the league, we could make a late season push for a playoff spot. But that's being the optimistic side.
Fair. Jorge, where do you think Charlotte's going to end up?
Optimistically 7th, realistically 13th.
Now we got to finish higher than 13th. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say the top. I'm going for the top 10. You know, like Vaughn had mentioned, as long as we don't get the wooden spoon and we do better than Cincinnati,
Well,
and then we got to do better than Austin too.
here's kind of my saving grace is like we have a coach in Miguel that has proven to do more with less.
Fair.
Right? I mean, he won the Copa Sudamericana with Independiente del Valle. There was a game they beat Flamengo 5-0 as well. So I mean, like to me, like the quicker our players can understand Miguel ball, the higher chance we have of doing well.
What's the wooden spoon? What is that?
Finishing in last place.
Well, I mean, I get it, the context.
Cincinnati's trophy.
Well, and actually, I think it started in like 2015 I think it started with the Independent Supporters Council actually making an official wooden spoon. There's an actual trophy that's passed from supporters groups to supporter groups.
Well, it hasn't been passed much the last couple of years.
No. Well, they might pass it around like, among FC Cincinnati supporters groups. But yeah. They literally have a wooden spoon that they.
It's an old expression, I think, from England, referring to winning last place. And yeah, like Vaughn said, here we embrace the weird. Made it the Independent Supporters Council made it an actual trophy to mirror the supporter shield.
Nice. See, that's what I'm talking about. CLTFC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans. Damn it, because you're getting good information like this.
That's right. That's right.
Spoons. And thank you, Paul. Thank you, Adam, for that good information.
And even if you guys do get the wooden spoon, you have to get it 2 more times to be as bad as Cincinnati. So
Adam,
we ain't dealing with shit for wooden spoon, man.
Adam, can you tell us a little bit about the raccoons at RFK?
What's to be said about them? We love trash pandas here. So RFK, where DC United used to play, was you remember those cookie cutter stadiums that were multi-sport venues, like Veterans Field in Philadelphia, the old Busch Stadium in St. Louis. RFK was the first one of those to be built and opened. And it was I think other than the Oakland Coliseum, the last one still in regular use when DC United was playing in 2017 at RFK. And the city kind of let it go. After the Nationals moved out, they mostly stopped maintaining it and became something of a wildlife preserve. And there were lots of animals in there. And some of them were raccoons, and they became an unofficial mascot for the team. And to the point that they made like stuffed animals, like stuffies that
trash
you could buy.
Pandas. I love it.
And trash pandas. Yeah. So there was an ongoing thing for the last few years when United wins. Come on, you trash pandas. Gets going on Twitter.
That's great. That's awesome.
Embrace the weird.
Always embrace the weird.
Embrace the weird. Embrace it as much as possible. And anyone out there in the district or close by, please embrace our fans as we come up there, because I know you are, and vice versa. That's the best thing about MLS is it's such a growing thing. I mean, sure, I'm sure the Sounders and the Timbers and whatever have their beefs and stuff at certain points in the LA Galaxy and stuff, but man, we all just, it's like our own thing right now. And for us to have our brand new team that's our own thing, I'm so stoked to have this. I love it.
Adam, as soon as you started saying embrace the weird, JT started putting on sunglasses.
These are my special blue shades. Y'all see me out at the tailgates in my blue scoot with the scooter and stuff with these shades on for CLTFC.
Yeah.
I don't wear these anywhere else. It's the first time they've ever been seen in public, and you will see them in public on March 5th all day.
Yeah. Jorge, well, I was just going to let it go, man. I wasn't going to give that attention, man, but you went there. And JT, I really appreciate you, man.
I do too, bro.
I can't wait for the JT sunburn that matches those glasses.
Oh,
have the trash panda eyes. They call them the raccoon eyes.
Yeah. Well played.
JT, you a trash panda mother.
Yes. All right. Well, so Adam, man, before we shut this down, we'd like to try to keep it at an hour, because me personally, I have a short, a short span. That's what I'm going with. I can't stop, JT. Man, what are you doing? Anyways, so Adam, man, promote yourself, where people can find you, that sort of thing.
yeah. I co-host the Filibuster podcast from blackandredunited.com. You can find me there. Find me on Twitter at 202AMT. I'm also on TikTok with the same handle. The podcast is at FilibusterDCU on Twitter. Check us out. Like I said, we had Alex Andreev on to give us the lowdown on Charlotte FC this week. So check us out. We like to have fun. We drink a lot. We have a good time on this podcast. We've been doing for a while now.
That's what's up.
Cheers.
That's what's up. And if you guys haven't hit the sub button while you've been watching this, do us the favor and hit that sub button. We're trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers before kickoff, and if we get there, we're going to give away one of the jerseys of the winner's choice. You can pick the mint or the blue. So yes, 1,000 subscribers before 6 p.m. Saturday. We're about 100 away the last time I checked. So get to subscribing there, folks.
Real quick. I'm sorry, because I could jump in real quick. On Friday around lunchtime, Lee and I are going to recreate our first ever CLTFC fan TV video in front of the stadium. So if you happen to be around, why don't you stop by, say what's up?
What's up? I'll be there, JT. Promise you.
You're damn right you will.
Yeah. What time we say, noon?
Yeah, something like 11:30, man.
Okay. All right. You gonna text me in that morning?
We'll go.
We're embracing the weird, fellas. We're embracing the weird, right?
Y'all think crap. I was like, these mother Top Ben's like, man, I'm tired. He's already Top Ben's on the bottom. He's like, man, I've been texting this whole time.
Bro,
This shit.
I love your energy.
I've got 2 kids, and I've never had anyone accept my advice as thoroughly as JT did tonight.
The man listens. The man listens.
I'll take that as a true compliment. I look forward to giving you a big hug in the future, Adam.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Vaughn, tell us how we can find you, buddy.
Yeah, at VI Pullman on Twitter. And you can check me out on MLS Aces podcast. That's where I'm jumping on fairly frequently as a regular there. I'm into 3 hours of podcasting tonight. We just did a Western Conference preview earlier today. So go check that out if you want to see what my thoughts on the Western Conference.
Who's winning the West?
Seattle.
Yeah.
They're winning the league. Yeah.
They're winning everything.
They're winning everything. I tell you what, though, not to kind of get distracted, but the East, boy, well, that's a strong conference, man. And then Nashville moved over to. It's just.
Yeah. Well, you'll see. MLS is so unpredictable. The thing is, like, that the weirdness of it, the parody, the quirkiness. You'll have a team that makes MLS Cup and then doesn't make the playoffs the next year. It just happens.
Usually that's Caleb Porter's team.
Yes.
That's it. Or hey, buddy, man, any breaking news you want to drop before we plug you as well?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No.
No? All right. Where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TopBin90. And then you can find me on TikTok as well as Real TopBin90.
Right on. JT, any final words?
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And I want to say especially, and let me look you in the eye, it's on. It's going to be a party. To all you fans out there who know very little about soccer, my gosh, show up on March 5th. It's going to be so much fun.
70,000 plus tickets are sold, right? We're pretty close to selling out.
And learn the beautiful game.
Let's party.
Not a bad
party.
Let's party.
Yeah, for sure.
Do it, man.
Jorge.
We may be screwed, but let's have a good time, folks.
And Lee, I'll see you out there for show. And Adam, I'll see you sometime in the future, man.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Embrace the weird.
Jodidos Unidos.
Embrace
Jodidos Unidos.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
It's only weird if we make it weird.
It is.
JT makes it weird.
Adam, you're not embracing it though.
I know. You said get weird, man. So here we are. All right, folks, hit that sub button. 1,000 subscribers before kickoff on 6 o'clock Saturday. Then we'll give away a kit of the winner's choice. Appreciate y'all.